Hello, everyone. I'm Katerina from proMX, and I would like to welcome every one of you to today's session. Today we are talking about PO. It will be our focus, and we'll be talking about the latest updates and features of project operations. And of course, today we have an expert who will deep dive us into this topic, Sebastian Sieber. He is the product manager of ISV solutions at proMX and a project operations expert as well. And yep, before doing a deep dive, if you have some questions now or during the session, please drop them into the chat and Sebastian will try to cover them after the session. And if you want to explore more about project operations and you have more curiosity about learning more, then please subscribe to our newsletter. Do not lose any sight of our upcoming events and articles and stay up to date. And now over to you, Sebastian.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Katerina. Thank you for organizing and thank you, your team, for setting everything up and as well supporting me to create that session here today. So, oh, that is fast. Good. So today we will talk about project operations. See what is new, what is coming up. First of all, animation works. Good. Transition works. My name is Sebastian Sieber, as already mentioned. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn every time or send me an email if in case you have questions to this presentation, to the topic in general about project operations, and as well for, as mentioned, product development, so ISV solutions. So I have this part there as well, and I'm happy to guide you through today's presentation. Very appreciate everyone who's joining. Also, hello YouTube. I think we'll upload that later. Therefore, we will be as well able to rewatch for all of you on YouTube and then as well to share it. Short overview about some words because I'm talking all the time, and sometimes I use not the full product name. So when I, for example, say PSA, it is Dynamics 365 Project Service Automation, or same goes for customer engagement, where I mainly say CE or CRM, because I'm coming still from the good old days from CRM version 3 and 4, where like everything was on premise and online was something everyone was worried about. So yeah, and every time when there is something like project ops or pro ops or PO or something in that direction, it is Dynamics 365 project operations for sure. There's one more for Project 40 Web. This is basically the online scheduling part, which we'll as well see later. And this is named PaxWeb in the Project Operations integration. We will check this out. I'm not sure if this is directly the super high official name for that, but I learned it as that and I still use it. We will use it together. And PSS is basically the scheduling API that helps the project and task scheduled in project operations. If I missed here something, I'm super sorry, and I hope I will explain everything while talking, and it is clear for you. So sorry, super sorry if not. For today's agenda, I have a very strict timeline by Katerina. It's 45 minutes plus some questions, so you will be out in time. We will check a bit on like what is project operations in general for everyone of you who's coming here and wants to learn about like what is that thing about. We will have a little look on the migration from PSA to project operations. We will hop on some recent features. This includes a little small demo of these features and how you can find and enable them already. and then what is like upcoming and planned and where it goes in which direction. And then we can as well have a short view on our projects. So in total, I see we have 42 pages or slides before us, plus the demo. So I will try to guide you through. Let's jump directly in. What is Dynamics 365 Bridge Operations? Basically, it is in the market since now 2.5 years, here, something like that. And it is the update for what we had Project Service Automation, so PSA before, and it kind of combines now Project Service Automation, parts of finance, and Project for the Web, as already mentioned. So these three products, they basically work then together in sync to build project operations. There are three different deployment types. There's the light deployment, which we will focus on today. There's the resource and non-stocked deployment that will include an integration between your CE environment, so the CRM side, and the finance, so the F&O part on the other side for everything that then comes on the invoicing and billing and contracting parts of that. And there's as well a stocked and production version of that, which only happens on the finance side. So the history about that is a bit that the team who's doing project service automation um, has that strong F&O background, and then as well there are some parts which have existed before in the F&O or AX project module, and then they're overtaking to the CE side, and then all over the time they have been um, finalized. So, why should anyone consider project operations for what they want to do? So, first of all, we do have some certain main parts and some main features. So, they are going from project planning and management with the help of the project flow web interface over to resource management and project controlling. Resource management works a lot with as well the um, scheduling board from the URS team. So every capability you may know from field service module is as well there available on project operations side. For project controlling, the focus is definitely on the cost side. So definitely we go through and we do have different projects. We generate costs on the team. We do work with budgets. We track that down. It's all connected to the services and time recording and as well expense recording, of course. And it's all like built up into one process that follows from the project contract right up into the invoicing. And the whole product basically supports you there. And you can like do all the nice planning and management stuff in that parts with the help of the other controllings, like as mentioned, the project for the web or the scheduling board for that. Of course, there's a kind of that's what I mentioned with like these animations was like stuck. So there's a kind of a user story. So of course we starting with like creating new projects, creating projects for customers, but as well working with internal projects. So this is a very big part of the product to keep track of internal costs. To make those projects you want to perform um, still reasonable. So that the return of investment comes back and is positive, and we all earning money. So this is under the line. This is the point of view. Um, how that project will be created, we won't really talk about today. We can do this separately if you're interested. So you hit me up on that. But in general, we go through the process a little bit, especially for the WBS and planning part, and as well budget and forecasting, what we do see here today. There's as well as mentioned the parts for the capacity and resource management, and then as well time tracking within that. And then like who's then working on those on all of these things? and all of these products, and who's working with the system, who of my employees should be there, and few of the employees should have access to it. So we do have definitely different teams there, but of course they're then all working collaboratively together. So there's definitely a way for like project managers and resource managers to, on the one side, have an eye on the availability and as well the budget, as mentioned. The project team member kind of gets the tasks, so he's informed about like what he needs to work on, what is the target for him or her, and then as well, of course, on the C level, we do see a lot of evaluations, reports, and information in general about the portfolio or the programs running, and as well, for example, from the finance side, as mentioned, we do have a very big part with that finance integration. All of these data which we generate from the from the time entry and expense tracking as well directly bind it to the finance. And therefore, with that very brief overview, directly shooting up to the upgrade. So if you're coming from a PSA installation, you do have the upgrade availability since November. And basically, there is pretty easy way to update. So it's a kind of just a solution update. It's just like we have a like a monthly update for Microsoft, right? So we just go there and just click on update, and everything works fine on a Monday again. It's not that easy, unfortunately. So there's a lot of, but there's a lot of checks and there's a lot of quality gates. So you cannot just click on your production environment, click on upgrade, and then everything is good or not that good. Um, there's a lot of checks, as mentioned, and there are like different rules that are applying on the project duration side as they did on the PSA side. And that mainly comes in because we are using the project for the web integration as project planning module. And there, for example, there is the case for maximum number of resources per project task. So this is a very easy thing to validate. Currently, the limit is for 20 resources per project task. So if you do have a task where like everyone from the company is assigned to, with like 500 users or so, this is something we need to split up before. And there are different other steps. So, for example, as well, when you want to have like task roles, so you can define a role, so role like a developer, project manager, that should work on a task. If you want to, if you may have defined that on a task that then later received some child tasks, this will then as well kind of restrict it. It is not restricted to have the rules on the task in general. It is mainly just to keep your data clean. And especially if you're a customer coming from version 2 then, so PSA version 2, there are as well some legacy fields which it's time to clean up. But if that all is cleaned up, it is basically straightforward. And I do have a very small example right there. So in that Power Platform Admin Center or PPAC, we just go to our environment and then we want to select the Dynamics 360 apps right there. Good. So once we select the Dynamics 365 apps there is these install app solutions. So of course we want to have Bridge operations installed. In this case, I already did it, so you can already see that it's installed, but I managed um, to get the screenshot afterwards. So in general, in that, we can go back maybe for a second. In that overview here, install app, then you will get an overview here on the right hand side, and then you can just select project operations, and it will install on top of project service automation, and we'll run through that and will as well perform all of these quality checks. All of these quality checks basically then later are tracked down in your system. So even though some of these checks are failing during the installation, it is not too bad because you do have everything well documented. And I really want to highlight that because I started in a time where like every update was a nightmare scenario, and in the meanwhile, it is really smooth, and it works like on the second click at least, if not even on the first. So it's very well documented, and you can see like all of these checks running, and as well, even though if one of the checks is failing, it will of course stop the installation. You will get this error basically in the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the installation. So you don't need to wait like a day or something till you get this error message. It happens pretty quickly on the start. And you as well get the affected project tasks or projects, for example, with their name and the GUID and what is wrong with them. So you get like basically all the information you need in order to proceed with the upgrade, and it comes in very handy. Once all of this upgrade is taken through, you do see that there is one little message. If you open up a project again, say, and that says this project is upgraded from a previous version of project operations. Navigate to the tracking to view the tasks right here. And if we do so, and we are checking maybe first our task section right there, we can see that this is externally managed. So I cannot see my beautiful project for the web interface, which was the main reason I upgraded. Give me that back. So what happens is it basically moves all of these legacy WBS information to the tracking panel right there. And you need to manually convert that project uh, to project for the lab, basically, that it can use that integration. And that happens with that little guy over there. So there's this little convert button here. And once you click that, you will get asked if you want to do that, if you're really sure you want to migrate to Prettyful Lab, because there is no turning back. So once you get there, it's fine. But you will never go back. So it's just like you live there now. And once you click the button, you do get the wonderful interface for the um, PAX web or project for the web interface right there in Project Operations. Um, for your customer, or if your customer, the main situation I could see now in the first um, migrations we performed with our colleagues there is that we do have a lot, of course, we do have there's some customizations, and there are like some extensions for manual calculation or manual rules on, for example, projects or project tasks. These needs to be then moved on to project operations and then work with their API, because what happens inside that frame here for project for the web is not longer than handled directly on the CDS side, but it's then handled via an API. So we need just to switch that lane a bit with as well our customization and go into that direction. As well, what is important is that in case you do have a custom form, for example, for the project, or you may even customize the original form coming from Microsoft side, you need to set these back or go back to the vanilla project operations project form, because that control here, of course, is new, so it's newly embedded, and you want to have that on the form for sure. I think that's all the details about the migration so far. We're good in time as well. There's one more thing. So there's a timeline till Microsoft basically want to upgrade everyone to Bridge operations, because then of course it is easier to support and to focus team wise on the next steps and things like that. Um, till you have that. So I think this is in October next year. Till you have that. you still have the option to use PSA on a regular basis. So there's as well, even though your license are running out, there's the option um, to downgrade basically your licenses from pre versions to PSA. But enough about migration. Let's may talk about the recent features for bridge operations. Um, we directly jump in, and I brought you like handpicked 5 of them. Um, I will talk a bit about of them, and there's some of them there are screenshots, and some of them we as well then see in the demo right after that. So I will explain what is the usage of them, and then we will go one by one through them. So first we do have so first is the left upper corner here for me. Is a date effective price overrides. Sounds very complicated, isn't? It is totally not. Basically, it makes it easier for you to handle your price lists. See, because today you do have maybe different price lists, and then you do have a lot of roll prices on that, and you do have different roll prices then for certain scenarios. You may even using um, a custom pricing dimension because you do have some factors why there is a certain range of roll prices different from the usual one, or they're like custom pricing, things like that. So you can change those prices much more easily without like copying the entire price list. And so your overall system load just gets reduced with that. And we can just go on the price list um, and define the certain information there, when this starts and how much it is. Say, for example, for the summer from June to end of August, you want to raise your prices because you don't have so much projects there going on. So you can do that for certain roles, and you can set this up for with even like dates and as well, for example, for certain customers or so. This as well applies for markups. Say if you want to have this percentage based amount change. So for example, you want to change from 5 to 10% for certain time because of December, winter season, whatever. You can do that very easily. You will have that in the demo because you can enable that. You can as well enable that today. So it is right there in the parameter. I will show that to you, how you can find that. And we will then look through that. Um, then as well, we got back the project quote revision button. So usually, if you working with the quote, you want to revise the quote and may have different versions of the code. And this was not supported with project operations or with PSA before. And right there, we get this button back. It basically then as well, of course, adds the revision ID to the process and things like that. And therefore, this is back to usual. Um, then as well, advances and retainers. These are basically upfront payments for customer and clients. They can be created like a one-time advances or one-time advance, and but as well like on a regular basis. I think we have this in the demo as well if you have enough time, and we can check on that. Bulk confirm and create or bulk create of performer project-based invoices. Sounds complicated again. Basically, you can bulk create, first of all, invoices from project contracts, and as well, you can bulk confirm those invoices. Also, something you can uh, edit or enable right there. Let's then go on with the vendors and subcontracting handling. That's maybe something of the most prominent feature that came up. So you can handle your subcontracting resources with your usual employees, just in the system. So there's a special type on the bookable resource. You can set this up, and you can specially set this up in the projects as well, and make them part of your planning. So you not longer need to maybe send like a plan out to your subcontractor and need to organize everything. So it can be directly done in the system and everything handled in the system. Great. This is the first set of features. As mentioned, we will see some of them in the demo right away. And I brought you a second list of it. So I decided to, to split it a bit. Just we'll talk about a bit of the API. So as already mentioned, there is the schedule API, the PSS, which is basically controlling the creation and update for tables like project task dependencies, resource assignment, project team member, but as well checklists, sprints, things like that. Maybe as well things that are still coming to project operations. And this is because it is the biggest difference, it is always worth to mention. So you won't be able to perform usual like plugin create operations, or for example work with workflows or so to create new project or create new project tasks. This as well has some effect on the templating. So therefore you do want to go via the scheduling API that can be triggered directly from the system. There's a special table for that. You can point out to that and send your changes to the API. The API validates everything and then sends it back to the Dataverse, and you can see that information back in the system. With that API, we as well get some. So I basically you have a screenshot here for that. So we as well with the demo, because yeah, everything is project follow-up related. As well, so contour updates we will handle in the demo as well very quickly. So you can do some updates on the assignments directly. So you can specify how many hours the person wants or should work during the week or on the months. External scheduling, this is in direct combination which what we do have with the schedule API. So you can as well turn it off. So you can every time turn off the API for single projects. So they can then basically scheduled or planned from an external engine. So you can do it manually with plugins, for example, or as well you can use different third party for that. So this is possible, but be warned about that. There's no, again, no, it's like a one-way street, so you cannot go back. And as well, you need to validate as well things like, is the end date after the start date, things like that. So there's a lot of downsides coming with that, but I can see definitely some use cases. But what, for example, comes in with that we as well get got the import for project plans from project, so for Windows. So these heavy, big Windows client that as well works because of that. The schedule experience and the project budget management are last one here on my list. So schedule experience, you may have seen it before. So the schedule board did receive a new update. This is not the case. This is the right one. So the schedule board basically gets a new interface. It is way more faster and is currently now our PCF control, which is quite popular right now with development in general. So PCF controls a Power Apps components framework. So it uses parts from the integration of Microsoft. So you can reuse components there, and it builds in very well. So we use it a lot for our customization and for our development. Yeah, as mentioned, it is faster. It has a better usability, and it has basically a complete new. So it's not only an update; it's a complete different application right now. So they're just making it more flexible and more accessible. The basically layout is still the same. You do have the the calendar here, you do have your resources and you do have your open requirements you want to plan through, and you still can see like people who are then planned and overbooked and things like that. And last but not least, we do have project budget management. We will as well see today. You can as well enable that on the parameter side, and it is there to organize your budget and to track your budget, your costs. And therefore, with that, because we will see more of the demo, we will switch over to the demo. And I have like 20 minutes left, so that should be good. Let me share my screen, therefore. I hope then that works smoothly. You should see my screen right now. Perfect. Good, 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 good. And let me organize that for a second. Also to watch the clock a bit. Good. So first of all, yeah, we are on the system. So Project Versions is already there. What I wanted to show you in the first place, we can go through these, or we can enable, where we can enable preview features or features which are not automatically enabled. So features where there's maybe has some impact on your processors. Um, I would definitely recommend you to not do this on production just to test it out. Maybe you can have like a developer environment, or you have like a copy of the environment, or you do have like a test QA, test dev system, or whatever. So please do it there first before you do everything on production. So, just my recommendation. If you go via settings here in the Project Operations model-driven app, select settings, select parameter. There should be one. There has to be one. There cannot be two. There is only one. One parameter for your entire organization. So whatever you put in here is valid for your whole organization. And there's a little sneaky guy over there called feature control. And if you click on the drop down, you can see I still have like material pricing methods to enable, and as well date effective price overrides. So I want to make click on the date effective price overrides, and it says here, do you want to do that? And it kind of explains me a bit what it is. And then I click OK because it's a dialog and I feel confident to click on OK. So once this is done, we let it run. It usually takes like 2 or 3 minutes in the background. You can see it kind of refreshes here. And based on based on what you enabled, you as well get some more options here to set up. So for example, you can as well now say that you can, like for custom pricing, you can always create a full copy or even not. So you do have some options to play around what works better for you. So with the background of having this now enabled, we jumping to our order, and from the order we directly jumping to the price list because I may want to give you an overview about how these are working. Let's refresh for a second, so just in case it's not loaded yet. Um, on the role prices, we go for who's one, the project manager. Let's go for the project manager. It's a bit hidden, actually, in my opinion, but it should be fine. And yeah, there we do have new tab here, date effective overrides, and then I can create a new rule override here. So we do see right now we have 179 US dollars, and for example, then I want to create a new override there, and this one is effective then from Monday on, and it's the 1st of May, and from 1st of May on, we charge only 120. So what happens then basically is that from the 1st of March, then we only charge 120 till we do have a new override or we delete that one. We can as well set the scope for that. So we can as well, for example, select a special customer for that or something different. Jumping back to our project contracts, I want to as well talk very quickly at one about advances and retainers. I've already created one here, so this can be this kind of runs next to your project, so you can get this upfront payment from the customer um, as often as you want, at least in the system. You can set up a scheduler here. So in the scheduler, you have the option to set up a start date, and you can either it doesn't tell you that, but it will either set you like an end date or a number. So you can, for example, set up the start date, and I want to receive 6 of them, and the invoice frequency is monthly, and each one, or in total, we will have 50,000 US dollars. So and then it will set it up and create those retainers, and then we can later in the invoicing phase set them ready to invoice and attach these to the invoice. So right now this is the old one and these are the new ones. So it created me for those 5 times all of these different ones, and as well split my amount. So I can all of them then set ready to invoice. And the specialty on this is it will really be only invoiced on the invoice date. So this is the limitation here. So be careful about that. It will be definitely only be invoiced on that date. Good. That is about the project contract and the advances and retainers. We want to quickly jump into the project because I can already see Katerina's face looking at me because I'm running out of time. And we do here have some examples on the tasks. I hope my session didn't expire. I did refresh right before the demo, and I was praying to the demo gods that everything works fine, and it does. I'm surprised. You can already see there's a lot of color here. So we do have conditional coloring here enabled. And you do set this up very easily. You can select any of the, let's add a new color. You can set up any of the columns right there, for example. Let's say name. And you do have an operator, and then say, for example, contains. And then we do have a good value for that. Let's take 5. And then I can set up a color. Let's do light purple. Save that, and it highlights me the port as 5. And so you can kind of highlight important things. So for example, I highlighted here all the assigned to columns where I'm assigned, or for example, everything that should have been finished. Usually you do see that there is this highlighted in red, but here then the whole column is highlighted, and as well all the urgent project tasks are highlighted as well. Um, so it's pretty useful, and it also well stays when I go back or something, or I close my laptop and come back on Monday. So this all stays. We do see different tabs here. So we do have a timeline, of course, and a chart section, and what is pretty new is are the assignments, and here we do see all the resource assignments in my project. And I do see these are grouped by resource. I can group them by task too, so it would be then more reflecting my project task plan. But I as well want to change the sorting a bit to weekly. So, and now I can see that Joey, for example, he's assigned to my certain task right there. And yeah, he's spending in the week of the 16th of April, 35 hours in total. So I want to extend that here to the week before. So he should start earlier. And I want to give him like 10 more hours of budget. And it doesn't let me because we're using dependencies. And therefore it cannot start there because, yeah, the predecessor will be not finished on this time. So I'm devastated. But then I think, okay, Joey can maybe work on the results workshop a bit more in this week so he can spend more time with me. And instead of 8 hours, I will assign him 12 hours. So I can really micromanage then as well my resources and my assignments in my project and assign those hours. And may even, because we updated as well the effort of the task with plus 4 hours, we can may even like do our whole project planning right there. And it doesn't need to wait till you do have your final resources assigned. It will as well work with generic resources. And because I was like blamming about everything that was related to um, dependencies and how they destroy my plans. Dependencies as well got an update actually. Let's figure one out. You can see if you do have a project plan 3 or project plan 5 license, you will get the opportunity to have advanced dependency types in order to not only work with finish to start, but as well finish to finish, start to start, and start to finish. So you can select them here in the drop down in the dependency. I just showed this on a different environment because there I do have a license. Here I don't have them, and therefore it is just showing me the usual. Good. That's for the tasks. And then last but not least, we as well want to create a budget, right? Because this is as well new functionality, and you may already have spotted here. There's this little guy here, create budget. And I previously activated the budget feature on the parameter, so it is available for us here. And I can choose from a manual and estimates budget. We choose the estimated budget because we already did our project plan, and our project plan seems to be pretty good. And we want to get this from resource assignments. The second option is project team members. So if you do have this discrepancy between that, you can may as well use project team members. In this case, I'm totally fine with resource assignments, and I gave extra budget to Joey, so it should be fine. And I can as well provide a value of like how much of the budget already used can be used on top. Say if this, for example, what I have planned is my maximum budget, I cannot use more. I'll leave this one empty. Um, it as well applies, of course, to expenses and material in this case, because it is only referring to what we do have in our task section, it will be time. So, and we say, okay, we do have like 25% more of what we have planned already. And then we're going to import that. And what happens in the background, it kind of creates a new budget plan for us, and it copies the estimates from the resource assignments to that project plan, and it gives me a small notification as soon as it's done. Last time it was working when I just refreshed, and then it was saying, hey, your budget is done. Hey, your budget is done. You get like this little section here, project was created successfully, and you do see here some budget over there. And what it basically takes, it confirms or it converts your project plan into this budget plans here. And it as well comes in inverted version. That will be interesting for in a few minutes. And what is basically important, see, you in detail, we gonna can go through this, but I'm pretty short of time. So in detail, it creates for each task and each role, each resource, like a certain line. And then later on, during the time recording, the resources will be able to consume the budget. So with creating time entries and creating services, they will getting approved by the project manager. The budget here will be consumed. And as well, the project manager has the option to validate the budget and as well to approve that budget. In the first place, we can see if everything is correct. So we do see that we get a little bit more budget here in total as we already have planned. So we do have a little buffer, and this is perfectly fine. We can add as well new budget lines manually. Maybe they're not yet included in our project plan, so we can do add them manually. But for now, it is perfectly fine as mentioned, and we can do submit the budget. Of course, if I make changes to my project plan, I can resubmit or re-import all of these budget lines again and receive the updates then based on my resource assignments. Once submitted, I do get the option as well to approve and reject. So basically what happens here, it is here then in review. It comes in as well with a version as mentioned. We will point this out in a few seconds when we're back to PowerPoint actually, not that you're waiting for that. So this will be approved and I will as well get some little notification. Maybe if I refresh again, then it gives me some little notification. Yay, my budget got approved. Perfect. And as well, what I get on top, I get like some little chart here for my project management activity on the main form. So I can see like what is tracked down already. Right now there's nothing tracked, but I do have some actuals already prepared. Fully. Yes, here they are. And what you get basically when you open that actual, so this is one actual, like 1 hour of work, and you do see budget associations. And what happens then in the background, which we kind of speed up right now, that you can re-elevate the budget, and then it will set this little flag here on scheduled. And in the background, there's a flow then running once in a while that then asynchronously searches the correct budget line for my actual and then works with that budget and basically tracks it against it. And as a PM, I can be planning with my budget, I can schedule it, I can approve it, and I can as well maintain and track it while the people are working on it. Yes, so far so good from the presentation. We do have some little more slides before we come to your end. Let me try again to share the PowerPoint therefore. Hey, let's do it this time. No, you will find that it is not recommended here for on Teams directly. Cannot do it. Okay, let me share it directly from my PowerPoint because then it's get a bit more easier. Um, just a second. Is that the right slide? Here, this is the demo slide. Perfect. Then we can just start off where we ended. So we did see the demo, we did see some of the new capabilities, and then as well we want to see what is upcoming. So in the future or in the next releases. So we are currently, when this is happening, end of April. So everything that will now be developed happens from April till September. This is the current release wave, and you can already see through the release planner by Microsoft and as well the docs provided what is planned in general and what is the focus on. So what we definitely will get is some modernized time and tree experience. I only do have some kind of blurry screenshot for that because it is not yet there. um, you can let me point out my laser pointer here. What you can see, it definitely looks a bit cleaner, it looks a bit lighter, and this is because the whole infrastructure here on that changed. So you did see already the grid for the project budget, which is also in the same kind of white style and fits perfectly into the whole Dynamics interface. And you do see you get some more items, some more icons and things like that, but the general idea keeps the same. Um, the approach for it is right now to first change the technology, what is used in the pre or the current one, to the new one, and match the feature functionality, and then from that first release on to develop new features. So we definitely will see some new features there as well. We will as well get some UI and UX improvements and as well the budget and time-phased forecasting. So what we currently saw was the budget management, and this will basically get as well like a forecasting or basically a snapshotting now with that on. So you did see that we had this version 1 linked for our budget, This will be then later be able to create snapshots and to select between different versions to see how the process is and how that everything behaves. And in general, for the UI and UX improvements, I still have that blurry screenshot. Um, the the out of the box and vanilla forms will change in a way that you get some more kind of charts and some nice overviews with that, and you get some more different like general data on the left hand side, and like here, so you have like a summarized general data, and then you do have some charts here on the top. This basically applies for everything: quotation, contract, invoicing, and the project, as we can see it right here. As well, what is coming to a project are project work hours. So maybe some of you are already connecting or have played around with that. So you do have work hours for resources, and these resources are based on a template, and it's always a bit strange to set it up. And this will come to, or like the functionality, not the strange setup. The functionality will be as well available on projects, so you can definitely define them on which days the project should be worked on. So, for example, you want to work only Wednesday and Thursday as a base setup on that project because of customer availability or similar, you will be able to do that. Um, as well, we will get our expense mobile application. Um, there are some more features on the F&O side, which as well handle these expenses a bit better than they do in CE. There is just a much deeper feature technology behind that. As well, on the F&O side, we will do have handlings for subscriptions, for example. So project subscriptions, this will be handled there as well. And as mentioned, for the budget, what we earlier saw, it can be look like that. So in this case, you may can see it. There's like this version one we saw before, but with an option to filter it, and you then as well can see that it's approved and things like that. See, all of these project budget functionality I just showed you will be as well improved. And yeah, then I will skip a bit forward because we slightly running out of time. So from our side, basically, what is important or what is nice to see that we from proMX, we do have like a huge experience with everything that goes on in project duration, what happens, what will be there in the future, why is it there, what was there, how to implement it, and this over the past years already since the PSA product hit the market. So there's always something new going on, and I knew that there's a lot of requirements out there, and there's a lot of things that are not yet handled by the product, but we're going there, and definitely we can see some more steps forward in the future, and I'm really thrilled to see what is coming next. I was planning to talk a bit more about recent successful PO implementations. So I don't want to steal your time there too much. So there's Waptec, for example, which is a bigger US manufacturing client, and they do have this very interesting use case where they needed some internal project management to review their costs and how how to handle the tasks. And this is really, I would say, the main strength and benefit of the product, to then really work with that cost and the project planning aspects, and utilize it, util booking and staffing the resources. Use the easy words, and and this is really a good example on how that works. And as well, you may have seen it on our LinkedIn or social medias. So there's was a lot of posts around that with German railway company. We as well did a bigger project to manage basically how they can invest the German government's money to their climate protection package. or predict. And so with a lot of KPI tracking and a lot of reporting analysis, so there's more Power BI and Power Apps I've ever seen in my life going on there. And therefore, we are coming to an end for your guys. So there will be some, if there are some questions, we can put on some answers. Katerina, do we have some questions? And sorry
Yes,
for taking more time than expected. I was talking too much.
fine. We still have some time for a couple of questions. Thank you so much, Sebastian, first of all, for gathering all the information. It was a lot, really interesting and quite deep. So thank you so much for gathering all of it. And let's see. We have one question from Tim Stuber. Hi, Sebastian. We have implemented a sales price logic, sales unit, sales role, to additional pricing dimensions on the project task in addition to the existing cost price logic. Then something like this can be taken over during the migration of from PSA to PO. Best regards from Switzerland.
Here, hi Tim, long time no see. I hope you're still there. Yeah, so the upgrade from PSA to Purchase Operations happens in place. So that means all the data, all the customizations, all the records, as well as your pricing dimensions, your pricing lists, everything kind of will be untouched and will just upgrade in the version. So it's kind of the same way as you deploy a new customization solution to the environment. So there's no direct migration to a different environment. It all happens in place. It kind of upgrades your project and the project or the PSA product. And in terms of the pricing dimensions, they will just stay as same and they will just work after that as well. Do we have more questions, Irina?
Nope, I think it was
Perfect.
it
Uh,
at the
I
moment.
I'm glad I could answer the question which was there. Perfect.
Tim,
um,
Tim is saying thanks to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the team. Um, in that case, you missed the first slide. Please reach out if you do have any questions to any of us. Easiest way would be per email. It may take like 2 or 3 days, but I will definitely respond. So in case you do have any questions or something else, you can click on the QR code. You will come to my LinkedIn, to the proMX website, to my email. Everything that is kind of necessary for that will be there. As well, there is the option to connect with your sales at proMX.net or via our proMX website. I think there's still some kind of contact form. Yes, so I hope, yeah, I'm finishing on time, so I hope everything was kind of insightful for you. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending, and I'm shooting my ball back to Katerina.
Thank you, Sebastian. Yes, thanks so much, everyone, for attending today, for being with us. And yeah, just in case, if you have any future questions about the migration, about PO, please keep in touch with us, write us via email or contact us via in LinkedIn, and we will be happy to answer all your questions and help you with your project. And yeah, stay tuned, subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll update you in the upcoming events. Have a nice evening, everyone, and see you soon. Bye bye.